What's up, everybody? I just wanted to give y'all a quick little tutorial on how I was making my boards in that last regionals, and also in the first place profile I made 2 profiles ago. This is pretty simple, but off of Simoon and just another Blackwing, we'll go banish the Blackwing to activate Simoon. And then we're going to get the Black Feather Whirlwind straight to the field, summon Simoon, triggers the Whirlwind. This is where you would hope you have some Morg in order to chain block that. And then you grab Sudri. You go normal summon Sudri, chain 1, chain 2. Then you're going to search the Vada, and you're going to search a Shamal. You're gonna go ahead. I did this a lot before I even shuffle. Just be like, I'm just gonna go ahead and activate Shamal from hand. Send that to the graveyard. Get Blackwing Dragon, and then I'll finally shuffle. Not that it's really gonna matter, because the next thing you do, special Vada, trigger Vada's effect. Use itself, Zephyros, and Chinook. You can use Harmattan or Chinook. You can also it really just depends on which one, what the rest of your hand looks like. So sometimes I'll send Harmattan if I know I have Osters, because I want to banish the Harmattan and then bring it back with Oster to make the full Armor Master. Or I know I already have, I opened one Feather Whirlwind or opened the Twin Shadow, so Sudri won't have much to search on that second normal summon of it. So then I'll leave the Chinook in deck so that I can search it later with Sudri. But for these purposes, we're just going to go ahead and do that. Whoa, my God. Smack my camera. What that's going to do is it's going to special summon Blackwing Dragon. On summon a Blackwing Dragon, you're going to trigger the Feather Whirlwind. That's going to bring back Vada. This is all pretty standard for most people's combos. After you bring back the Vada, you're going to trigger the Zephyros to bounce the Feather Whirlwind back to hand. Summon out Zephyros. Reactivate that. Do not forget that. Then you're going to go synchro these two into a 6. You synchro those two into a 6. You go make Nathung. And when you make Nathung, you can go ahead and go Chainlink 1 Nathung, Chainlink 2 Shamal. Banishing itself is cost. Adds the Shamal back. Nathung burns them for 800. Blackwing Dragon should have 2 counters on it from Zephyros and Shamal's effects. Then you go ahead and normal summon the Sudri again, Chainlink 1, 2, like we already did. That's where you search. If you already opened the Twin Shadow, then you search the Chinook. So Sudri's searching the Twin Shadow, the Black Feather Whirlwind, and this is what I meant in the profile, where after you start having so many Feather Whirlwind triggers, you run out of things you can actually use this turn. I could search Avada, but I can't summon or use it this turn. And then also you have other things in the way. So for this, I'd say we go ahead and grab the Orochi. And then what we're going to do with that is we'll go use these two. No. We'll use these two. Leave a 6 on board just because it'll be helpful. No, I was right. My bad. I'm confusing my combos. Yeah, we use those 2 6s. We make a Wastrix. We trigger the Wastrix effect, and that'll special summon us out. You can do Shamal if you want to synchro into an 8, but sometimes I want to keep my Blackwings in deck, so I'll summon out a Samorg But for this, we can go ahead and summon Shamal. It's not really going to matter uh, other than getting another one engraved to use its effect again. What we're going to do with that is we're going to go ahead and overlay those two for the Force Strix. We'll activate the Force Strix ability, detach the Shamal, and that'll also trigger the Y-Strix ability. And so Y-Strix is going to set the rank up spell. Force Strix is going to search us a level 4 Dark Winged Beast. At this point, I'd probably search Oster, just because I'm planning on having other follow-up for it. And then what we're going to do next is we're going to special summon the Orochi. And notice we haven't used the Black Feather Whirlwind the second time yet. This will be set. We'll synchro these two into the Hot Red, so we have a negation on board. And then we'll trigger the Feather Whirlwind in order to special summon out a Vada back from grave. We'll use these two to synchro summon into Borea Storm. Now we'll go Borea Storm's effect in order to dump pretty much whatever we want at this point, but we will dump the Harmattan since we have the Oster, and then we'll go ahead and link these two into Rusty. So what that gives us is the Oster to follow up for next turn, because we're going to, it also gives us the Twin Shadow. So we go ahead and set the Twin Shadow before we pass turn, since we don't have the multiple Blackwings on board to use it from hand. But so with starting with the 2-card combo, we have all of that, still have 1 in hand plus the other 3. So we have 4 in hand, and we have multiple negations that are hidden. It's what I like to call them. They're hidden negations. They don't, your opponent won't realize that you have these interruptions until you actually use them. So what you're going to be able to do is your opponent activate, or let's just say they go normal summon something they really need to keep on board, or like they activate Pressure Planet or whatever. They do something, you can either activate one of your 2 face downs. You're going to activate either the Twin Shadow or the rank up spell, just depending on if you need to pop 2 monsters or pop 1 card. And you also still have the negation. But what we're going to do, what I like to do first is let them get 2 monsters on board. Go ahead and activate Twin Shadow, and we're going to special summon Silverwind by shuffling back the where's that? Shuffling back the banished Shamal and the where's that? The Sudri from our graveyard. Shuffle those 2 back to make an 8. You don't even have to do those 2, to be honest. You can do any combination. But the point being is that you want to keep the ones that are in the grave as much as possible. You don't want to do 2 out of the grave, because right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 darks in grave, but we want to keep the Borea Storm and the Blackwing Dragon in grave so we can make the Assault Dragon. So really we have these to choose from, and in order to make this level 8, I think it would be best to shuffle back the Nathung and the Vata, because getting the Thumb back into the deck would be pretty helpful if you want to summon it again. But you can also leave it in grave, because the Feather Whirlwind can bring it back on the next turn and trigger its ability. So it's entirely up to you. There's no right or wrong answer. You just gotta pick and choose based off of what you're going against, because maybe you want to leave the Sudri engrave in order to get the Shamal, or in order to have the Shamal bring it back. It's entirely up to you on the way you want to play it. So for this, we're just going to pretend like it doesn't really matter, and we'll use those two to make an 8. We'll shuffle those back in. Summons the Silver Wind. Silver Wind's going to pop 2 monsters with less than 2800 defense, which is very easy to do. Your opponent's going to try to keep playing. You have the Archfiend Abyss to negate something still. And then you can also go rank up Magic Force, banishing 1, 2, 3, 4 to set up the Oster, 5, and 6. And, I forgot something. This is what you're supposed to do. When you do summon the Silver Wind, you're supposed to chain the Feather Whirlwind on your opponent's turn. This is why I meant in the other profile of your interruptions, setting up other interruptions. So you go Silver Wind, pop 2, Feather Whirlwind, there's chain link 2, brings back the Chinook. So you go chain 1, chain 2, bring this back, this pops 2. And then you can banish 6 in order to still have those 2 engrave, and rank up the Forstrix into the Ultimate Falcon, which triggers the Rusty to pop a card. And then, in terms of this, if you know you're going to want to make the Silver Wind instead of the full Armor Master, I would suggest the 2 that you shuffle back instead of these 2. I would suggest to shuffle back these 2, because you want to put the Nathung back in your extra deck, and Chinook will send itself so that you can put and you have a Blackwing to send. So you do need to keep those kind of things in mind, but it's really just situation dependent. Also, another reason that I'm trying to increase the amount of Blackwings in the extra deck, so I'll probably drop Savage, just because like you just saw, I didn't actually need to go into it. So yeah, we have those options. We'll just go ahead and say we shuffled back the Nathung and Levata, because it doesn't change the actual inboard. It just gives me another name to dump off of Chinook in order to do its negation when I send that. Send this from field to grave, and send a Blackwing from extra deck to negate one of my opponent's monsters. So out of all of that, we got 2 pops, 3rd pop, a Towers, and and 2 monster effect negations. If they somehow play through all of that, and this is still on board, oh yeah, the Feather Whirlwind would have died, but that's negligible. If they still play through all of that, this would be in grave because we used it to negate. We just go ahead and banish these 2 out of grave. Summon the Assault Dragon. But before you even do that, I would go ahead and make your full Armor Master. So let's say they couldn't play through that. We'll just go normal summon this. Use its effect. Bring back Harmattan. Harmattan effect, target Oster, Harmattan becomes a 6. Get these 2 to make full Armor Master. And at that point, you could trigger the Feather Whirlwind to bring something back, but again, it's not actually necessary. So it's entirely up to you. But then you still have the 2 engraved to banish for the Assault Dragon. So yeah, those are that's how you do that very large combo. If you opened the Core of Chaos, you can do the same thing, but instead of making the hot red, you could have used Blackwing Dragon and the Core of Chaos in order to make the Chaos Angel with both effects, in which case this would be unaffected by your opponent's activated card effects, but it's already a Towers. But with Chaos Angel having its dark effect, full armor master can't be ran over, and it can't be destroyed by card effects. So it'll be unaffected by everything, and can't be ran over. So that's pretty helpful. But yeah, that's how that combo goes. If y'all want to see more combos, let me know. There's so many things you can do with this deck. It's my favorite deck because of how versatile it is. Like, there's no set lines you have to do. Sometimes you can make the Boreas Storm before making the Nathung. You don't have to do it in that specific order a lot of the time. So I enjoy the versatility of this deck, and I hope you do too. So if you need to see more things, more ways to play this deck, more combos you can do, or if you want to know if it can make certain things, let me know, and I will make a profile on that or make a combo tutorial on how you can end up on something that you're theorizing that you should. So same thing when you go to side deck, that same combo, instead of making the hot red, could have ended on Dragoons. It's really just entirely dependent on what you think you need at the time. It can make anything just depending on what you're playing against and what you think you need. And that's why I love the deck. So yep, like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'm out.